Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, people, this video today is regarding your credit, or how to fix your credit, how to truly fix your credit, and how really to go about trading your credit. Now, a lot of people, they talk about credit reports and fixing your credit. People offer through webinars and then the webinar is free, but then they want to charge you like $1,500, $900. You see people like Taraj Bay who offer, but they don't really offer you help. You have people like Spencer Van in San Diego who offers you help and then charges you $1,900 in attempts to try to get money. Well, they'll say things like, well, this is not a sales pitch, and it hasn't in fact the whole thing is a actual sales pitch just to get you to try to sign up for their classes. This is not that. This has nothing to do with that. This has absolutely everything to do only with learning and educating yourself. All information should flow freely and is protected under the First Amendment right. Anyone who tells you otherwise is a liar. I also be explaining the Constitution and the contract of the Constitution. Now, please be advised, this is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, please find an expert, a lawyer, and speak with an attorney. This is for educational purposes only, and you are on your own. If you try to use this without knowledge, please understand, do not try to use this without understanding and fully grasping it first. I do not recommend. That's why I'm saying that, because I do not recommend using it if you do not understand it. If you do not fully grasp it and comprehend it, you will be in a lot of trouble if you do not. So please, I will be teaching, and I will be teaching and educating people truly on what's going on. The real looting and rioting in this country that is going on is the theft of private property, the theft and transfer of wealth from one class to the other, the destruction of one class to another. So I've actually learned how to incur minimal debt, actually incur no debt, because debtors don't like me. Debt collectors do not like me. They do not like when my name turns up on their desk. I was able to incur little debt, but in reality, that's just nickel and dime stuff. What I'm going to teach you is a lot bigger than that. I'm going to teach you how to actually get paid while you're getting in trouble, while they put a bond on you. I'm going to show you how to do that, how to go about that. I'm going to put links at the bottom so you can find this information yourself. Please be advised that all this is for you. Only the people who really truly wish to have knowledge will find this page. And I hope that everybody enjoys this video. Let's get started. So, I know fixing your credit seems like a long shot. It's an expensive proposition. Sometimes you gotta hire attorneys to handle the debt collectors because it seems so complicated, right? It seems like, well, I'm in so much debt. I'm in $100,000 in my debt. In debt, and I'm not gonna go and play a clip for you. Well, this person successfully did this, and not show you proof. I'm not like that. I'm not a person that's just gonna pay somebody to say something and then not actually show proof of it. I mean, you can show me a check all you want, but you're not really showing me anything. You're not showing me explaining anything. So today we're going to explain. I've seen books on Amazon, how to fix your credit in 90 days. None of them worked. None of them were successful. None of them had any impact. Now, all I had to do was just spare some cash, right? Like, hey, give me $1,900, people like Spencer Vance. Give me $1,500. People like Sovereign Filings. They're real good, but they only charge you $800. Now that's fair, because what we're going to be teaching today is not just how to fix your credit, but how to maintain and continue to maintain your estate. I'm going to explain this. So let's find out about Statute 609. Statute 609 turns out to be a loophole in the Fair Debts and Collection Practices Act, saying that a person's credit report must be verified by physical verification of a signed contract. In other words, for every account listed on your report, the reporting agency must have a hard copy, signed, committed, and received credit for your services rendered to pay it back under the terms filed upon. The three major companies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, do everything electronically. So, understandably so, they don't have acres of warehouses where they could store signed contracts. They don't have every person contract in the civilized world. They can't hold it. Now, there's not enough room, there's not enough manpower, there's not enough people, there's just not enough for them to do something like that. So Statute 609 is a way for them to show, they must show by law, I have a contract signed with your name. So remember, whenever you sign something, when you sign your name to a contract with a babysitter, you are signing a commercial agreement. That is called a form of trust. I am signing a trust agreement with you. I am signing terms of agreements. What are terms of agreements? Now, for terms of agreements, I would love to use the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States. Let's use the Fifth Amendment. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to a fair trial. Alright, let's use the ones that police officers give to you, actually. You have the right to remain silent. Okay, that's under the First Amendment. You have the right to an attorney. Sixth Amendment. You have the right... you have the right to an attorney. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and can do can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be assigned to you. So, first off, let's just break that down. First off, you have the right to remain silent. So you don't have to talk to me. That's a contract. You have the right to an attorney. So, Sixth Amendment, you have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, we, the state, will appoint one for you. Those are rights and terms. Do you understand? Now, watch out for that word you. Who's you? You could be anyone. Who's you? Explain, elaborate, who's you? Please explain. It's like when people, that's not good lighting at all. It's like when people say, you have, they say you, they refer, it's like when the police officers ask, when do you have anything on your person? Well, define person. Person is a state, corporation, individual. It's also on the trust. It's also a trust under the U.S.C. 1125, which is the trademarks, which we'll get into later in this video. But all this affects your score, your FICO score. And let me tell you from the start, it's not hard to do. It's tedious, it's time-consuming, and it requires organization and commitment, but it's inexpensive. It usually only takes about 30 days. Some will see results. Like most things in life, it just takes effort to put into it. The more effort you put into it, the more results you will see. It's like, if I just sit on my ass and not do anything, I'm not going to see any results. No one ever made money off of sitting on the couch. No one's ever gotten anything done by sitting on the couch. President of the United States residing. We'll get into that a little bit later. But my goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to jump right in. So I can't say that would I can't say this enough. If you have patience and tenacity, it will pay off big in this game. Because this life is just a crediting game. It's just accrediting. That's all it is. Everything's credit. Well, and these companies like Equifax, Equinox, and TransUnion, they're not here to make your life any easier. They will have to obey the law. They will have to respond to your Statute 609. Remember, the squeaky wheel will get the grease. I'm not a guy who likes or has ever wanted a big house or boat. I just wanted to have a day, what I need so I can help others along the way. I've always been like that. I've seen expensive books on how to make it affordable and accessible. Little credit goes a long way. But people like me, who didn't know at the time, struggled to even gain or get anything financially. So I started doing research, and I started getting more knowledge. Well, remember, knowledge is power. Knowledge is real power. As I mentioned earlier, that the process of cleaning your credit report is not expensive. Really, all you have to do is pay for certified postage, assuming that you have access to a computer or a printer. If you don't have access to a computer or a printer, or you already have somebody who does, you can ask them, a friend or something. So now you're now you're playing a big boy game. Now you're saying, look, show me the proof. Show me the original consumer contract under Statute 609 that shows that I have to pay you the debt in order for me to actually pay the debt. And I also recommend hard copy everything. It's such a simple setup. Set 3 folders up. Each is designated with one name: Equifax, Equinox, and TransUnion. You can do this really easy from your desktop computer or your phone or whatever system you have. A first class stamp is about 49 cents now. Certified mail is about $3. It usually comes to around $13. It's not too bad for one round of letters. It usually takes around four rounds for them to respond, because don't get discouraged if they don't respond the first time. Just keep sending the letters. Just to give you, it just depends on how far you'll go with it. If you choose to send additional correspondence, like I like to send letters in between the middle of the month. So you have to, because with this you have to wait 30 days for a response. The term, this is why you see warranties. I want to explain what a warranty is. Well, a warranty lasts 90 days, right? Well, why does it last 90 days? Because it's a mortgage. It's an actual mortgage that you have not paid off. Now that mortgage goes into default. Now, because you have a signature, your signature actually is what makes you a debtor. Not the beneficiary, you are the debtor, because you did not sign your name properly. Now you have made yourself into a debtor, not a beneficiary. And in order to you still have rights as a debtor, obviously, but obviously, the Statute 609 and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act would make it much more sufficient. Like I said, all you really need is a copy, a printer. If you don't have Microsoft Word or something like that, you can try OpenOffice.org or Free WordSuits, or insert a picture. I would also recommend inserting a picture of your license and your social security into the demand letters. We'll explain what you do with the demand letters. If you don't have an Adobe Photoshop or something like that, you may need to get a little creative. You can take pictures and crop them. You can then email them to your MacBook and download them and insert them into a word processor. These things may seem over the top, but I'll explain why it's not. These things are very, very important. These are the type of things that will get your credit, things removed from your credit. I warned you earlier about being meticulous and patient. I want to lay it out for you that before you start, know what you're getting yourself into, because I want people to remember the golden rule. Those who have the gold make the rules. That's the real golden rule. And they have all the gold right now. Most of the debt that is owed to people like you and people like me. But we don't realize it. And when we go into court cases, people make bonds and had bonds added in. That's money left on the table. I'm going to show you how to get those bonds back and all that money back that's just sitting there on the table. Free money that's because they overbid. And they just leave money in your name. The first step to doing this is knowing and understanding what you're dealing with. Remember, these bankers don't care about us. They just want to make money. They just want to make their quota so they continue taxing us, adding us to, sir, would you like to add another credit card? Oh, would you like another mortgage? Oh, I see you can do this and that. Look at Wells Fargo. You can get your free credit scores from people like Annual Credit, freecreditscore.com. These are just some of the ones that will get them on get you rolling and getting you on Equifax, all the information on Equifax and TransUnion. Basically, all of it is the same information. About 80 or 90% of the information is the same. When you send this, always make sure to send it by certified mail. Don't ever send it just regular mail, because they will say we did not receive it, and you will not have any legitimate proof to show unless you had like a receipt or something like that. But don't be surprised what you may see. Your credit reporting in you. Once you have your credit report, take a few minutes. Just look over it. What do you see? They're in a pretty simple format, right? Once you understood this, well, it takes away all the mystery. It makes you actually feel like you can do something about it. Now, identify the negative entries. If there are few or none that make you look good, you can see why it is suggested that you obtain a kind of security so that there is some type of positive credit, as mentioned earlier. You want to list everything first in the demand letter, including student loans, car loans, anything that makes you look less reliable. If there are accounts open, list them. But you may want to consider sending a letter of goodwill. Those letters, remember, if there's an original contract collecting dust, the credit agency's archive or any accounts listed are eligible to be challenged, since there may be many issues reported by one of those three companies, Equifax, Equinox, and TransUnion. It is well worth the time to create a master list. It is well worth time to create and keep track. You do not give them any opportunity. Do not give them any opportunity to find any loopholes in your record keeping. Put up your dukes. So here's round one. Now that you have all the information, it's time to start and gather demand letter one. You want to be direct, concise, and you'll want to see I'm going to show you a sample letter. Now, please be advised that this is just a sample letter. You have to literally write your specific debts. Let's say you have a debt for $100 to Harry's Bar and Grill, right? And they want to collect after 90 days. They must send a full sample, they must send according to the Fair Debts and Collections Practices Act, Statute 609, A1A, they are required by federal law to verify through physical verification of original signed consumer contract. That's important, because they can't just say you owe a debt if you don't owe the money. And any and all accounts you must post on a credit report. Otherwise, anyone paying for your reporting services could fax, mail, or email fraudulent account information. So, demand to see original, verifiable, and original consumer contracts with my signature on it, or your signature, whoever owns the debt. You have to file and ask for these accounts to be verified. The FCRA states that unverified accounts must be removed. They can't stay. They can't keep up the accounts without verifiable proof, and they must remove them within 30 days. So use your master list, and you'll want to include all negative entries in your credit report. Identify each account with the exact name and the collector. List the account numbers. You won't have access to the whole number. Sometimes it usually has 4 digits. Sometimes it's all X's. Sometimes you get the full number if it's listed at all. Each account should be available on a separate item line. Using Word, you could use word processor. I just use a big piece of paper and line them 1 through blah blah blah. The more clear, the more concise, the better. After you have made sure everything is filled in correctly, you will need the letter notarized. You want to get it notarized so you can say, hey, look, the letter has been notarized, it has been certified, and you want to do a blue, you want to do you want to have those sent, and then you send it that way. The documentation, you want her to do, both him or her. You want them to verify both the legal. So you will want legal verification of the document, of both the letter itself and the integrity and its contents. I would suggest requesting also a removal of all non-holding accounts. This will minimize the impact of your credit reports. You will also notice on your credit report there are 2 types. The first is a soft query. It provides a summary overview of your credit history, whereas a hard inquiry is polling your whole credit report, and that is the one that's the most negative impact. Most people say, well, searching the companies like to say, well, searching your credit score doesn't affect the credit score. Yes, it does. A hard summary and a hard inquiry and a soft query. These 2 do affect the credit reports, and they have impact upon your credit reports. Don't let people like freecreditreport.com tell you this, or whatever company that you are using tell you this. That is a lie. They can't do that. That is false. That is actually false advertising. One of the standard responses is to the question of the usually the first in question is in authenticity and the request of the sender, rendering a decision to take no action. I've never had that problem personally. I've usually got a response back, but it's usually not what I'm needing. It's usually just the document itself, the bill, and then a letter from the person saying that this is what I owe them, which is not sufficient at all. That's actually deemed invalid. But when you scan an image, to avoid something like that, or them to try to challenge the integrity of your document, you want to scan stuff like the Social Security and driver's license into the document. It's just another pre-strike against the shenanigans that they'll try to pull against you or sidetrack you. They may even try to get you to find some alternative type of agreement, but don't fall for that. Don't fall for any type of thing. Just keep pushing forward. You may get a formal letter, but it's just another weapon in your arsenal. When you get a letter from them, keep it. That's a weapon against them in court, and I'll explain here shortly. I also recommend doing back-to-back pages. So when I mean back-to-back, I mean front-to-back. So it prevents page losses, so they can't say, well, we lost some of your pages. Also, it costs $15 to get things notarized. However, if you have a bank account, the bank will do it for free for you sometimes. But sometimes you gotta take it to a branch. It saves money, but it keeps you ahead of the game. It's a way to get your letters formally noticed, especially since it's stamped by the banking industry. Lastly, sending your credit by certified mail is an important part of protecting yourself and preventing loss. For an additional $6, you can actually get a return receipt from the mail company. That's the UPS or the postal office who was doing this. They will give you a receipt in your name, but all you really need is proof of delivery. You don't really have to do that unless you are exhausting all your remedies and have an option to instigate litigation against these people. But you will find out more about that later. Now, everything is in the mail. Now you just have to wait 30 days, right? Well, what's next? The first thing you'll probably receive is a letter of confirmation from TransUnion, Equifax, and the other company. Now, this is a confirmation of promotional suppressant. So when you ask for the removal of 30 days, you'll also ask for a promotional suppressant to be placed on your account. From there, the credit report agencies will have 30 days to respond and dispute these allegations or try to show that they have proof that you are a debtor, that you owe them money. And there's a good chance they will try to blow you off with some lame excuse or technicality, or it may take a couple times for you to get it, but don't lose hope. Like I said, you got to be perseverant. You got to continue on this. You have the law on your side. If they're not reporting the law, the credit the way it's supposed to be reported by law, then you have the right under Statute 609, and it is very clear that the transmitted information, true or false, to CA, they cannot transmit false information. They have to transmit true information. And they have to verify the information. So don't let them distract you with anything else other than the account has been removed. That's what you want. The account has been removed. That's ultimately what you are seeking, to remove the account from your debting. And that's what we are really digging into today. Just a small heads up, they may try to detour you with alternative dispute resolutions and all this, but don't fall for those. Just keep going. Just follow the program, follow the plan, follow the program. You got this. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. If my granny can do this, your granny can do this. If my family can do this, then you can definitely do this. Now, these letters are like proven. They are proven. Now, people will tell you, well, there's risk to Statute 609. Of course there's risk to Statute 609. There's whole bunch of risk to everything. Anything you do, there's a freaking risk to it. So, using an online grieving system, it leaves you with a paper trail in your case, but don't let them distract you with it. Just send the mail. You have to send it by physical mail. It has to be paperized mail, so you have a green slip, because that can go. You have a letter saying that, well, I did it. I've had links that have been deleted, meaning that the links were all of a sudden corrupted or something. And I can't access it anymore. So, don't let them distract you with this. As I mentioned earlier, containing a response in the letter, they will respond with an updated credit report. The first correspondence did something. Hopefully, your first response did something and your credit got cleaned up. But at this point, whatever it is, you need to work both angles. Now you need to go after the credit, the debtor/collection agency, and three major companies, Equifax, Equinox, and TransUnion. For any accounts opened, you want to send a letter. You want to send a letter of goodwill. Say something along the lines. Was my letter to let's see if I can find my sample letter here. I think I might have put it somewhere. You want to say something along the lines like, I've been a customer with certain company for such and such amount of time. I'm in good standing. Please do not take my late payments as bad notice. And then you just tell them that you wish to keep business along with the company. This should help. I'll show the sample. But you want to send a letter of goodwill to the crediting company. That's the collection agency. You also want to send a letter to the three companies, Equifax, Equinox, and TransUnion. All of the debtor collection agencies should be sent a letter of validation. Those letters of goodwill should go to your agency along with the letters of demand. The letter of validation is a document that shows that states a service was rendered. Now, they may try to verification, but this is not what the law requires. We want validation. Hopefully, after reviewing your case, they'll be in a good mood. Probably not. Don't be discouraged if your first letter doesn't move mountains. You have 3 more to go. Then you can start threatening legal action. Oh, it's fun. And they start getting squirrely. For example, did you know that medical collections for over 43% of people over 43% of bad credit, it actually goes. It's 43% of people's bad credit